the creation stories of Genesis 1 and 2 are not so much about the creation of the universe as they are about the meaning of life, the meaning and purpose of existence. So let's begin with Genesis 1. And let's do some typology. Yay! Typology. So let me set this up for you. You have John's prologue in John chapter 1, and then you have Genesis 1. Take a moment, read those two side by side, and see what they have in common. Never-ending story. Did you do it? I trust that you did it. Oh, wow. John begins his prologue with "in the beginning." Genesis 1 begins with "in the beginning." John does that on purpose. Remember, John the Evangelist is a Jew writing for a Jewish audience, and his audience would have saw what he was doing there. He's retelling creation. He's retelling the creation story. John chapter 1 is a retelling of Genesis chapter 1 to show us that there was actually Jesus present throughout the dawn of creation. Whoa, we'll talk about a twist. So in the beginning there was the Word was with God, the Word was God. Well, what do we have in Genesis 1? God talking. What else does John say in his gospel? He says, everything came into being through the Word. Not one thing came into being without the Word. How does God create in Genesis 1? God says, let there be, and there is. Through God's words, things come into being. And what comes into being? Well, in Genesis 1, God creates the light. What does John chapter 1 say? That Jesus brings the light. The Word brings light. And maybe, okay, let's do a little bit of science here. What do you get when there's light? Life. Light brings life. You can't exist without the sun. Life results from the light. And John is saying that Jesus brings the light. Jesus is the light. And of course, you know the whole story of Jesus. He eventually brings life. God creates man and woman in Genesis 1 out of flesh. It says in John chapter 1 that John the Baptist is born of flesh. And what else does it say about John the Baptist? It says that John came to testify to the light, but he himself was not the light. Now, a truth that we can take from Genesis 1 and the Genesis 2 creation story is that human beings are made by God. We are creatures of God, but we're not equal to God. So as humans, as creatures, we can testify to the light, but we ourselves are not the light. We can testify to God, but we ourselves are not God. Why am I emphasizing this? Because what's going to ultimately be the sin of Genesis 3 is going to be an attempt to become like God, to defy the Creator, to defy our nature.
God creates man. Man destroys God.
John the Baptist, he himself was not the light, but he came to testify to the light. He knew his place. He knew his place.